It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer, and today we got a beer from Glamorgan Brewing Company, and this is their Dead Canary India Pale Ale, coming in at 4.5% ABV in a 500 milliliter bottle. They're the official ale supplier of the Welsh Rugby Union. Pretty good. So I'll be able to tell you all about Dead Canaries in a moment. It's not just they've been putting Dead Canaries in their beers. There's a reason for it to be called Dead Canary, and there's the pit there, the coal mining pit. So black bottle cap on this one. Without further ado, let's get the beer out into a glass and see what we get. Nice bit of smoke on the bottle opening, beer in the glass. IPA 4.5%, and then you're pouring it out and it's kind of amber in colour like this. You're thinking to yourself, is this more of an ale? Is this rather than call it a traditional ale? I think they've thought to themselves, let's go down the road of calling it an IPA. Where do I sit with that? Well, there's two types of IPA in the world. You have your more kind of traditional British IPA that when I was young, God, they were selling IPAs around these parts at 3.4%. And people knew no different really. It was kind of just how it was. But this one at 4.5 is a little bit stronger. Yeah, definitely more of a traditional British ale. The other side of the coin is American IPA, which is lighter in colour, a little bit sweet on the aroma, a whacking great bitterness on the back end, and they're generally 6% ABV. I'm on about American West Coast, not New England IPA style beers. So that's the difference, British IPA versus American IPA. I suppose if they wanted to pass it as a British IPA, yeah, you could, but then I think you're looking at a certain demographic. You're probably selling your beer to maybe people in their 50s and 60s rather than like a New World type of drinker. Wherever your sales are, wherever you see your sales as a brewery, that's what you're going to brew, isn't you? If you need to brew bright, sparkling beer for the local market, who are used to drinking bright, sparkling beer, that's what you're going to do. It's very difficult to convince people otherwise. Aroma on the beer then. Wow. Blown in neck. First, wow, blimey. Gosh, rancid diacetyl. Diacetyl coming through this from start to finish. Butterscotch aroma on the beer. Oh, I'm going to have to give the channel sponsor now. I do apologise. bestofbritishbeer.co.uk. If you want to drink beer from small, quirky, independent breweries from all over the UK, the best place to find it is bestofbritishbeer.co.uk. There's a link in the description box of the video. Little cottage style breweries you've never heard of in the Outer Hebrides or deepest Cornwall, deepest Wales, deepest Norfolk. You'll find their beers at bestofbritishbeer.co.uk. It's a subscription service, so if you pay the subscription, you're getting between 8 and 10 beers a month, I think, sent to your door. And you don't know where they're coming from, so it's like Christmas every day. Loads of diacetyl coming through in this beer. Let's dive in. Yeah, it's just buttery, butterscotch, butteriness. What am I talking about then with diacetyl? It's when you possibly a little bit impatient as a brewer, and you're not giving the beer its full time to ferment out in the fermenter. You're kind of like stopping the fermentation process, and you're bottling the beer a little bit early. And what happens then is the beer gets infected, the yeast is still alive, and it's still wanting to do something, and it's still farting and pooping in your beer, but not in a great way. And instead of the malts being nice and biscuity and bready and nutty, the flavour of the beer becomes buttery smooth, and yeah, butterscotch, like having a mouthful of butterscotch sweets. But what I will say is that if you're a dead Canary drinker, if you've been drinking this for a long time because you like the butterscotch flavour, then you're not going to know any different, are you? This obviously has a market. Now, I know of brewers in Yorkshire who purposely stop the brew slightly early in the fermenter, and they package it and send it out, and they're selling beer with diacetyl in. They're actually creating diacetyl because that's what their drinkers are used to. Their drinkers are drinking their beer going, oh, I like that butterscotch taste, I really like it. Now, personally, I can't stand it. Absolutely cannot stand it. Maybe it's the fact that, because I don't mind a Werther's Original. Who doesn't like a Werther's Original? Maybe it's the fact that I know it's an off flavour, and I don't want any off flavours in my beer. But this is one of the worst beers for diacetyl I've had in such a long time. It's just rancid. Nothing. I mean, there's a little bit of bitterness on the back end. There's a little bit of sweetness, but other than that, it's butterscotch. It's just. I won't be drinking the rest of this. I really won't. Glamorgan Brewing Company. They more like a distribution. They started off as a distribution company that opened a brewery. They sell a lot of their beers in independent pubs in like the Cardiff, Penarth, Barry area. Vale of Glamorgan, they do sell a lot of their beers around there. It's all okay. It's never gonna rip. It's never gonna start ripping up the floorboards of the beer world type of thing. You know, they just exist type of thing as far as I'm concerned. Dead Canary, so it refers to the coal mines. They used to take a canary down the coal mine. If the canary died, then bang, you've got to get yourself out of that coal mine pretty quick because there's gases escaping. And that was the only real way of testing if the coal mine was safe, was to take a canary in a cage down there. And if the canary popped it, yeah, time to get out rather sharpish. That's the kind of reality. It's really poor. Really, really poor beer. They're the type of brewery that you see in Wetherspoons all the time, you know, and you think, oh, do I want a pint of that? And you're kind of generally like, nah, not really, I'll give that one a miss. It's your cheap, like, if you're looking for a cheap ale in Wetherspoons, you know, when you see a Glamorgan Brewing Company, you'll see it there, and, you know, each to their own. If you like the butterscotch taste of a Glamorgan Brewing Company beer, then you're going to enjoy that, ain't you? But it's not for me. It's not for me. I'd rather drink something a little bit better. It's really poor. It's rancid of diacetyl. It really is. 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.